Okay, so we're diving deep today into a really perplexing case.
Yeah, this one's got layers for sure.
The death of this businessman, Michael Thompson, right?
Right, in LA?
Yeah, March 15th. And, the sources we've got, they lay out the initial findings, like what they saw right at the beginning. And
Yeah, and it's definitely got us scratching our heads.
absolutely. So our mission, I guess you could say, is to try and untangle this whole thing for our listener.
Right, figure out what we can from what we know so far.
So to set the stage a little bit, Thompson's body.
A businessman, successful guy, you'd think.
You would think, right? Ends up in a deserted alley, which is already kind of strange.
Not where you'd expect to find someone like that.
No, and this is after he vanished from his mansion, so like,
Opulent mansion, right? We're talking
oh yeah, like serious wealth, and that's where things get a little more,
a lot more strange.
yeah, so no forced entry, right? Windows are closed up tight.
But inside the mansion's a different story.
Totally different handprints all over the study walls.
Like someone was struggling maybe, or trying to send a message.
And then there are these other markings too, like symbols almost.
Subtle, but definitely sinister looking.
It's just a weird vibe, right? And it gets weirder because the neighbors reported all this creepy stuff.
Oh yeah, the neighbors, they always see something.
Right, like they said they heard weird whisper.
Flickering lights, like something out of Ghost Story.
It is giving ghost story for sure. So it's like, is this a normal crime scene?
Doesn't really fit the mold, does it?
Not at all. And then Detective Jessica Reed gets involved, right?
Good detective, solid reputation.
Yeah, she digs up some interesting stuff. She finds surveillance footage of Thompson leaving the mansion.
Last known images of him alive.
Exactly. And get this, with this like shifting silhouette that just disappears into thin air.
Hold on, shifting how? Like, changing shape?
That's what the sources say. It's unclear if it's some kind of high-tech trickery or...
Something else entirely?
Right. Like that opens up a whole other can of worms.
So we've got the weird markings, the neighbor's stories, now this disappearing figure.
And then it takes another turn. The investigation uncovers some family drama.
Ah, good old-fashioned family drama, always a possibility.
It turns out Thompson made some sudden changes to his will, like right before he died.
Cutting people out, I bet.
Big time. So naturally, the family's not too happy.
And then on top of that, they find an antique diary.
Near the mansion.
Yeah, and it's full of secrets, forbidden love, long-held grudges.
Classic recipe for disaster.
Sounds like it, so suddenly we've got motive.
Greed, revenge, the whole 9 yards.
The plot thickens, right?
Majorly. So now we're looking at two possible scenarios. One is that this was a carefully planned murder.
Motivated by those family issues we talked about, and maybe the diary holds the key to who did it.
That's the logical explanation, right? Makes sense.
But then there's the other side of the coin.
Right, the unexplainable stuff, the weird lights, the creepy whispers.
That vanishing silhouette, like something out of a nightmare.
Almost like the mansion itself is somehow involved.
Or something connected to it, maybe an unseen force.
And the sources really play up both of these angles.
It's almost like they're saying, pick your poison. Which one do you believe?
So here's what we know. We have a wealthy guy found dead under strange circumstances.
And it all starts at his supposedly secure home.
Right, and the evidence points to two wildly different possibilities.
On the one hand, a potential murder fueled by very human emotions.
Greed, revenge, jealousy, the usual suspects.
But then we have these bizarre occurrences that hint at something much darker.
Something beyond our understanding.
Like we're peeking into a hidden world or something.
So that's where we leave it with this case. The investigators seem to be caught between these two worlds.
The world we know and the world we don't.
So what do you think? What explanation feels more plausible?
Is there a rational explanation for all of this?
Or is there something more at play?
Something we can't quite grasp.
And what does that say about our understanding of reality and the forces that might be hidden all around us?
It really makes you wonder.
Definitely something to think about.
Absolutely.